This is day number 8, page 78. It is then possible to imagine a new natural philosophy, continually conscious that the natural object produced by analysis and abstraction is not really but only a view, and always correcting the abstraction. I hardly know what I am asking for. I hear rumors that Goethe's approach to nature deserves fuller consideration, that even Dr. Steiner may have seen something that orthodox researchers have missed. The regenerate science which I have in mind would not do even to minerals and vegetables what modern science threatens to do to man himself. When it explains it, would not explain away. When it spoke of the parts, it would remember the whole. While studying the it would not lose what Martin Buber calls the thou situation. The analogy between the Tao of man and the instinct of an animal species would mean for it new light cast on the unknown thing, instinct by the inly known reality of conscience, and not a reduction of conscience to category of instinct. Its followers would not be free with the words only and merely. In a word, it would conquer nature without being at the same time conquered by her, and by knowledge at a lower cost than that of life. Perhaps I am asking impossibilities. Perhaps, in the nature of things, analytical understanding must always be a basilisk which kills what it sees and only sees by killing. But if the scientists themselves cannot arrest this process before it reaches the common reason and kills that too, then someone else must arrest it. What I most fear is the reply that I am only one more obscurantist, that this barrier, like all previous barriers set up against the advance of science, can be safely passed. Such a reply springs from the fatal serialism of the modern imagination. The image of infinite, unlinear, unilinear progression which so haunts our minds. Because we have to use numbers so much, we tend to think of every process as if it must like the numeral series, where every step to all eternity is the same kind of step as the one before. I implore you to remember that the Irishman and his two stoves. There are progressions in which the last step is sui generis, incommensurable with the others, and in which to go the whole way is to undo all the labor of your previous journey. To reduce the Tao to a mere natural product is a step of that kind. Up to that point, the kind of explanation which explains things away may give up something, though at a heavy cost. But you cannot go on explaining away forever. You will find that you have explained explanation itself away. You cannot go on seeing through things forever. The whole point of seeing through something is to see something through it. It is good that the window should be transparent, because the street or a garden beyond it is opaque. How if you saw through the garden too? Is it no use trying to see through first principles? If you see through everything, then everything is transparent. But a wholly transparent world is an invisible word. To see through all things is the same as not to see. Oh, this is, I guess this is already done. So it's already, I reached to appendix. So maybe you can stop here. Yeah, it does is appendix, but there's only 2 pages of a sutta, a few statements, so I just read it out. The following illustration of the natural law are collected from such sources as come readily to the hand of one who is not a professional historian. The list makes no pretense of completeness. It will be noticed that writers such as Locke and Hooker, who wrote within the Christian tradition, are quoted side by side with the New Testament. This would, of course, be absurd if I were trying to collect independent testimonies to the Tao. But one, I am not trying to prove its validity by the argument from common consent. Its validity cannot be deduced. For those who do not perceive its rationality, even universal consent could not prove it. And number 2, the idea of collecting independent testimonies presupposes that civilizations have arisen in the world independently of one another, or even that humanity has had several independent emergences on this planet. The biology and anthropology involved in such an assumption are extremely doubtful. It is by no means certain that there has ever, in the sense required, been more than one civilization in all history. It is least arguable that every civilization we find has been derived from another civilization and, in the last result, from a single center carried, like an infectious disease or like the apostolical succession. Okay, this is it for today. This is Minky, and please correct me if you can. Thank you.